Hey guys, so today let's talk about the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I'm really excited to show it to you and to show you the look that I created today. I'm gonna try to make this like super fast. I ordered it as soon as it came on the website on Urban Decay, which was about 2 weeks ago, which reminds me, let me tell you when I got it. It says that the order date was 6/12, and I think that's right. I mean, why would the receipt be wrong? I just got it delivered yesterday, and yesterday was June 21st. But besides from that, the main thing is the palette itself. So this is the way that the packaging looks. The outside is a really nice palette, and it has the mirror just like the other Urban Decay Naked palette. And then you get your 12 shades in here, which are pretty much all warm tones. And I went ahead and I swatched them for you so that way you can see all the colors. The only one that I had a little bit of trouble swatching, and that felt a little crumbly or scratchy, was the last one. But either way, they all swatched really nicely. They did swatch really soft though, so really powdery. A lot of them swatched powdery, so I had to like apply it once and then do it again, so that way the powdery part can spread out and then it looks soft. So sometimes these eyeshadows that are really pigmented, they do that, and I did get a lot of fallout in my look. So for today's look, I try to use as many colors as possible. I used Chaser, which was a great color for me. I don't have a color like this, believe it or not. It's my skin tone. It's like my exact skin tone on my eyelid, so it just looked like it wasn't even there. And I usually go for like very light colors, like a cream eyeshadow, but this one was just better because the cream eyeshadows, now that I'm seeing the difference, is like really light. Like it makes my eyeshadow look really, just not my eyeshadow but my eyelid look really white almost. But this one was a good color for me, so I like that one even for blending out. After that, I used Low Blow, which is a really pretty warm brown. That's one of the colors that I thought maybe I had in another palette, like the original Naked palette, which is, that's my washer. It's telling me to go get it. Which is the color Buck, but no, Buck is a lot cooler. I'll show you the other palettes in a bit so that way we can compare them. You can see the difference between the palettes. Then to deepen up the outer corners, I used He Devil, which is a burnt red, pretty much. It's a really deep dark red, and I loved it. I loved how it ended up making my outer V look really dark. It just warms up the look even more. I did apply En Fuego on the outer V of my eye to really darken up the outer V. I wanted that to look, you know, just a little darker on this outer part where the eyelashes are like out there. I don't know, I just like the way that that looks. And the color that I applied on my eyelid all over, which looks so pretty shimmery, it's like a very pigmented shimmer, is Lumbre. And I didn't think that it was gonna look that the way that it looked, or like pictures that I've seen that it looks really pigmented and it's still shimmery at the same time, but it does look like that. I try to use as many colors as possible. I'm pretty sure I used 1, 2, oh, and then I applied Ounce in the inner corner and on the brow bone area, and then I used Chaser here and there, just to kind of blend out. Today I also used the brush, which I rarely use the brushes that come in the palettes. I think I've opened one of them. See, still in the plastic for the Naked palette, the Naked 3. Ooh, still in the plastic right here. And then this one's open. I think I used it to try it out from the Naked 2 palette. But this one was different. It has a brush on both sides that are blending brushes, except one is a little more flat, like a little chunkier. You can tell how it's pressed on the edges, and then this one is round on the edges, so it's not like pressed down. But I like this one better because I felt like I would apply this one and it would apply a lot of color, but as soon as I used this one, it was like an eraser. Not eraser like taking it off, but an eraser like blending. It would just help me blend so much, and so I actually like this side. I'll be using it again for sure because I do like it. Here are the swatches again, so that way you can see them one more time. And of course, this is the way that the makeup looks afterwards. I'm very happy with my look. I'm very happy with the way that it blended out, but it did have a lot of fallout, mainly from the darker colors. But I would say all of them gave me a little bit of fallout. Maybe it could be my brushes, maybe it could be just how soft the eyeshadows are, but it did give me fallout. This is the way that it looked right there, but I did just brush it off with my powder brush that I used to take away the powder like for baking and stuff, and it easily came off. But you can definitely see the fallout on the top of my cheeks up here. Comparing it to the Naked palette, the original one, nothing is the same. like nothing at all. The Naked Heat doesn't even have a deep dark color like a black or a dark brown. It pretty much has that dark deep purple, which I'm very happy with. If you notice, I have all three palettes, but I don't have the smoky, but I did have it and I didn't like it, so I did return that one. I do have a review on my channel, which is pretty old, I think like a year old. Whenever it came out, that's whenever I got it. And the smoky palette, it didn't like. All the colors look the same on me, so trust me, if I don't like it, I will tell you. So going back to the Naked palette, the original one, pretty much they're all different. Like maybe you may think Buck is similar to Low Blow, but Low Blow is a lot warmer. Virgin kind of looks like Ounce, but I've never really been able to use Virgin very well. Like it never shows up shimmery, it doesn't really do much, so they're not the same at all because I was really able to use Ounce. Comparing it to the second one, I would say this is an actual opposite because all of the Naked 2 shades are very, very cool toned. All of them are cool tone. Maybe a little bit half-baked is the warmest shade that you get in here, but you don't get any half-baked looking eyeshadows in the Naked Heat. And then looking at the Naked 3 palette, which is probably my least favorite from all the palettes because I don't really use rosy tones. I guess it just depends, but I don't know. I just don't reach for it that much. But I still really like it. It's still a nice palette. If I hadn't, I would return it. Like I said, like if I don't like something, for sure I won't just keep it just because. But nothing is the same. All of the bottom colors are also cool tones. They're very rosy, very pink, and the top ones are more orange, more red. And then I have one palette that is not a Naked palette, that is not even a high-end brand palette, is a brand new palette that I got and I showed you in a recent video. This is by Lottie London. You can tell that there are some similarities, like a lot, but I've already used the Lottie London one and I wanted to show it to you in this video because it's comparable. You know, you look at it in pictures and it looks very, very similar, which I'm not gonna lie, like it really does, but they're not the same in quality. Obviously this one is less expensive, but there's a comparison so you can see it, and this one looks way more similar than any of the other Naked palettes. And I tried to create a similar look from whenever I used this Naked Heat palette today. I was wearing that look in the Lottie London video and it just took a lot more work to build up the color. You get way better quality in the Naked Heat palette, so even though I tried to like compare them and see like, okay, maybe you can get a cheaper alternative, which you can, but the Lottie London one has some cool tones and the cream shadows are a little bit different, so they're not exactly the same and the pigmentation is not the same. So can you create a similar look using the Lottie London one? Yes, you can. But the Lottie London one doesn't have the reddish tones that I just really fell in love with today, which is Heat Devil, Lumbre, nothing the same. Scorched, you can see that there are two similar shades, but I haven't tried them on my eyes, so I can't say anything about those. And the Lottie London one has a matte brown that just didn't work out for me at all. Like no pigmentation, everything was fallout, like all the pigmentation was down here. So even though it does look the same, obviously the quality is not the same. I think I can create a lot of different looks with this palette, and you can say, oh, look for another palette in your collection and see if you have those same shades. I have, and I've always seen makeup looks that look so warm and pretty, like kind of like what I'm wearing today, very warm shades, and I don't have anything like that because I've tried to recreate some of those looks and they don't look the same. So I know for sure that I don't have these type of shades. If you don't own any warm tone palette, I think this is a very good palette to get. Let me know if you have one that's probably similar that you already have, so you're not gonna get it, or are you gonna get it, or are you just a little bit confused on, you know, other reviews that are out there. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the Naked Heat palette. If you want to see the way that I used the Lottie London palette, I do have a video trying a full face of makeup with those products, so I will link that one below, also up here, or is it up here? I can't ever remember. But that is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys liked my Naked Heat palette review, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.